Villainous by It's_Kingston on AO3. Episode 12. Chapter 9. Nightmares. Ochako sat up quickly, sweat dripping down her face as she looked around the room in a panic. The light was still on, and her phone sat on the charger. She fell asleep after reading Toga's message. Her heart was giving out, beating like a hammerjack. In her chest, she couldn't stop her hands from shaking, despite knowing it was a dream. It seemed real. Too real. And it scared her. It was 4:48 a.m. She noted only 2 hours since she got back. Ochako slept for less than an hour and a half, but was in no hurry to return to dreamland. She checked her texts again. Unexpectedly, there wasn't any new ones. Putting her phone down, the hero stared briefly at the ceiling, trying her best to push the thoughts of the woman and her own actions out of her head. Wasn't therapy supposed to help you live with your actions? Maybe she could sign up using the money she got from Twice. It was a nice thought, but it wasn't like she could tell the psychiatrist that she murdered someone. She couldn't talk to her friends about this. She'd get sent to a federal prison. That's the same reason she couldn't tell her teachers about it either. Living with the guilt or go to prison, Ochako reasoned. Or both. She didn't really see a good night of sleep, or a good day for that matter, in her future. She needed to talk to someone. Oh. Opening up her contacts, Ochako selected the only one saved. Ochako. Hey, are you awake? Depends on what you want. To talk to you? About? I can't really say. Speak now or forever hold your peace. This isn't a wedding. So, same rules apply. What? Never mind, I just had a bad dream. Or, well, more of a nightmare. What, are you afraid of the dark, hero? No. I'm kidding. Do not talk to your little hero friends? They aren't here. Besides, it's about earlier. If they aren't here, why are you? Field trip. Ochako wasn't quite sure why she was spilling so much information. Maybe it was a nightmare, or the poor sleep, or the fact that she needed someone to listen to her. She needed someone to tell her she'll be okay. You stayed back. Yeah? So? Can we talk? If it's about what happened today, it won't be over text, silly. I realize that, I just can't sleep. What do you think I'm trying to do? Sorry. It's whatever. See ya. Oh. Bye. Ochako sighed and dropped her phone onto her stomach. So much for that idea. Maybe if she went back to sleep, she wouldn't have the same dream again. Or maybe it would be worse. A harsh voice in her head scolded her. You should deserve it. You killed her. It's only fair. Ochako teared up, shaking her head. No, I don't. I'm trying to help. Her voice came out a cracked whisper. She closed her eyes to try the tears. But she was met with the woman's face. Her glossy gray eyes left wide open in pain. Her matted hair, stained with blood and dirt by now. How horribly pale she went in the moonlight, the glint of the knife allowing the hero to see her own face as she took the woman's life. Ochako felt sick. She stood up from her bed, nausea hitting her violently. Her hands grasped the corner of her nightstand, keeping her balance. Breathe. Just breathe, she whispered to herself, trying to focus on anything other than her enormous failure. She stared at the carpet that covered her floor, a deep blue shade, perfectly unstained. She needed to vacuum soon, and dust. She looked at her desk, and she let stuff out. Pencils, papers, homework, candy wrapper. The trash was full. Ochako took one final deep breath before sitting back down in her bed, no longer feeling like she'll throw up. She struggled to fully push her actions away from her conscience, but successfully calming herself down. The hero knew she'd be haunted by her actions until she was dead and buried. The action was carved out of her, leaving a hollow feeling, as if taking the life of the woman had taken something from her as well. It was 5:10 a.m., the perfect time for bed. Ochako leaned back, letting her head hit the pillow. Instantly, she had a renewed sense of guilt. the girl's cries already swarming her mind. It was like her head was shoving beneath the waves, and her lungs were full of water. Drowning on land, she jolted up. Her eyes darted around the room again, breathing rocky. It sounded so real. Her dream. Ochako shuddered. A small ping managed to catch her fleeting attention. The hero was suddenly alert, a new wave of adrenaline coursing through her. She cleared her mind in a way stressful situations tended to. Never fully clearing, more so redirecting thoughts, pushing them back for the time being. She made her way to the sliding glass door that she locked when she came in. With a click, the lock fell open, and Ochako slid the door out of the way. She glanced around for the culprit of the noise, staying ready to fight at a moment's notice. She jumped back, almost tripping upon seeing reflective yellow eyes in an oak tree, merely feet away from her. A low snicker came from the tree, and without warning, a figure jumped into the balcony. After almost needless landing, the figure grinned at the hero. I didn't mean to scare you, but it was pretty funny. Ochako relaxed, opening the door more and walking inside. Come in, you're gonna get yourself caught jumping around like that. Ochako gestured for Toga to follow her in. It'll be your fault. If the door was unlocked, I would have just let myself in. Toga replied, examining the room as she spoke. She spoke quietly. Ochako wasn't sure if Toga knew she'd spoken. Her eyes were on anything but Ochako. She looked so much more cautious than Ochako had seen her throughout the last few meetings. That's the number one reason why everyone locks their doors. Ochako deadpanned. Why are you here? Finally seeming content with the condition of their surroundings, Toga turned her attention to Ochako. Because you said you wanted to talk. The blonde narrowed her eyes. You made me come out here for no reason, didn't you? No, I just didn't think you would show up at UA. Or at all. Ochako said awkwardly. Now that she was thinking about it, the fact that Toga came to UA for her meant two things. One, Ochako meant something to the League. Whether it was a member or a source of information, she had a chance. Or maybe Toga just liked her. Ochako doubted that one. Maybe it was to make sure she didn't talk. Unlocking the door might have been a mistake. It also meant UA really needed better security. A member of the League was in a student's dorm, and no one was any the wiser. Ochako figured that if she could get in and out, then Toga might not have the hardest time, especially while being able to sneak around undetected, which was supposedly her job. Well, job was putting it nicely. You lost in your head, hero? You seem to do that a lot, Toga said. She poked Ochako's shoulder, causing the hero to jolt. Sorry, just curious why you showed up and how you got past the guard so easily. If you can do that, why not just come here whenever you want? The gravity hero asked, sitting down on the edge of her bed. She patted the spot next to her, offering Toga a seat. The blonde took it, plopping down on the springly mattress. She bounced on it a bit, smiling. I do. Huh? I come in and out of here whenever I feel like it. It's just hard to get information when no one trusts you. I'll have to stay here, transformed all the time, and go on missions with you happy-to-go-luckies to get any information of value. Toga sighed, expressing her disdain for the classified information being classified. You do? Ochako was suddenly very nervous. A member of the League walked the halls of a hero school whenever she pleased, and no one knew. There had to be some way to tell that she was transformed, right? And that meant she had to hurt someone, or worse, kill someone every time she did it, so she could get the blood necessary to transform. Yeah, why not? Besides, it's how I keep an eye on you when you started looking around for us. Toga seemed so nonchalant about the entire situation. She knew that even if Ochako knew this, and wanted to betray the League, she wouldn't know where to begin looking for the blonde in reality. It would be incredibly suspicious and cause the heroes mass amounts of paranoia, and so many sleepless nights. That makes sense, Ochako mumbled. Her mind was racing with possibilities. Was anyone acting out of ordinary lately? You're gonna make your head explode trying to remember how everyone acted. I always just pick someone random. I was just joking anyways. Toga laughed lightly, smiling at the hero. Of course she didn't pick someone random. That was a lie. Toga seemed to find great satisfaction in playing the role of another perfection. Ochako wondered if she thought it was fun to watch and pretend, to see how far she could take it, see what people thought of her performance. That was a strange line to walk when transformed, lost somewhere between yourself and a stranger. Did I say things out loud very often? Ochako asked nervously, only a little scared to know the answer. Things that I just meant to think? I mean? Not really. Toga shrugged, having been drawn out of her thoughts by the hero. Now, on to the reason why I'm at UA at 5:25 a.m. instead of sleeping, she said expectedly. Oh, nothing, I'll be fine, Ochako replied, not wanting to press the issue. She'd been fine the entire time talking to Toga, and mostly fine before that. Maybe it was passing. Well, that's the issue, the blonde said. You'll be fine means you aren't fine now. It was something about a nightmare, right? Is that dead lady bothering you? She pressed. Yeah, Ochako mumbled, surprised that the villain identified the issue so fast. You guys don't get it. Toga tapped the side of her head. She's dead. You can't change it now. And if you wanted to change it earlier, you missed your chance. Now all you could do is keep looking back, or forget and move on. Staying back there with her corpse is just gonna keep you up at night. Is that what you do? Ochako asked, eyeing the blonde. That was weirdly good advice. Well, not good, but helpful? Maybe? Ochako just wanted to be over it. Huh? Not really. Killing people has never bothered me, especially not when they deserved it. And people are so pretty that way too. It's like the final stage. As honest and clean as someone can be. Toga smiled, and Ochako saw something glint in her eyes. That was the pivotal point, the thing that made them so fundamentally different. Ochako tried to hang on to her morals so desperately, but Toga had long since casted her away in favor of an exhilarating life. Ochako wanted to make sure no one was hurt. Toga didn't care who got hurt. The entire league probably thought similarly, only looking out for themselves. What? Did you finally realize how deep you're in? Toga grinned. Toga talking about dead people made me realize that when I talk about my plants, I sound like Toga. No, okay, so what I do with my bouquets, all the bouquets that I've gotten from my graduation. Oh, I did not mean to hit my mic. From my graduation, from all the plays I've been. So I have 3 bouquets from the plays I've been, and then 2 from my graduation, right? It was a small graduation, otherwise I probably would have had 30. As soon as I get them, I get home, and normal people would put them in a vase and admire them for a week, and try to keep them alive as long as possible, and then throw them away after they start withering and die. Me, on the other hand, what I love to do is get home, and instead of grabbing a vase, I grab some string and hang it from my ceiling so that they die hanging. Let them die. Then I made sure that the string is well attached to it so that I could then hang it and display it on my walls. So I made a bouquet 2 days ago, right? It is a cute bouquet. It is nice. It was 6 other people, or 5 other people. We all each spent $15 on flowers, right? Small batches of flowers and stuff like that. We all got together. We all put them all the flowers, all the fillings, and then we made it all together into something cute, right? And I loved what I ended up coming up with. What I ended up coming up with was super cool, super nice, super sweet. I loved it so much. It is amazing. And I remember, so we got vases and water and then food for the plant. And I remember I said, oh, no need. I'm gonna get home and let it die. I'm gonna hang you, and I can't wait to see how you look dead. And I remember somebody asked me oh, why don't you do that? I'm I think it's really pretty when they die. I think they look super pretty and super cool when they die. They're preserved forever, dead. And I'm now thinking about how I sound like Toga talking about humans when I talk about my dead flowers. I just like doing that. And if you spray some perfume on it, or some cologne on the petals as they're dying and stuff like that, it stays that way. I know some people, sometimes when they do that, the roses smell or they smell weird or whatever. That's because you're not doing it properly, right? You're doing something wrong, right? Normally they're not supposed to have a scent, right? But you put some flour. I normally, what's it called? In this next one that I'm gonna put my Aizawa body mist. You heard me right. I have Aizawa body mist. It smells like coffee. It smells really good, actually. It smells actually really good, and I actually quite enjoy it. So I'm gonna have fun with that. My flowers are probably gonna smell like coffee, and they're gonna stay like that. But I like doing that. I like doing that with herbs. I like doing that with my flowers. Not necessarily like my potted plants. If I ever get a potted plant, I wouldn't kill it. But if it dies, I would then hang it. Yep, you heard me. If it dies, I would hang it. I find it cool and pretty. I also like collecting bones of animals and stuff like that. I have not collected any, but I would love to start collecting. I sound like Toga. I sound like Toga. Okay, but anyways, as always, my raindrops, make sure to eat, sleep, drink water, take your meds. Have a wonderful day or night. Link to my Discord server and socials are down in the description. Subscribe to see more of my content, and thank you so much for watching.